out to be pretty fun. Sitting here for almost 3 hours now. Appointment was at 8 o'clock. It's going on 11 now. I called them at 10 o'clock. She said that the bay that I'm supposed to be getting loaded in is filled with steel right now. And that's waiting to be put through the cool down process or something along them lines. Steel mill gibberish that means nothing to me. Not that I don't comprehend what she said. It's just, it means nothing to me. So I guess they were waiting on approval to load me out in the yard, but then if they get that approval, gotta wait for my stuff to be brought out to the yard in order to get it loaded. I'm supposed to deliver this 11 o'clock tomorrow. My ETA right now is 11:40. If I leave here right now, that doesn't even count the extra hour it's going to take me to get loaded. So now, because of Monday being a holiday, I'm going to have to load this up, go back home for another 3 days, 3.5 days, and then deliver on Tuesday. So I'm not very excited right now. Didn't finish up the video last night. You guys haven't even seen my first video from 2 days ago. I still haven't even put that together yet. Kind of holding off. I think I'm going to put it up come Monday. This way I have a little bit of a buffer zone, 3-4 days of backup, so that I can have a little more time on my videos. I think I want to get up to about a week's worth and then put them out. But last night I slept. I went 15 miles out of my way for coming here. I could have stopped 50 miles up the road at the Flying J, but I went 15. Okay, so let's try this again. I went 15 miles out of my way for my total mileage. It was an extra 15 miles. It didn't cut down much time that I had a deadhead this morning, but it was, still, it was an extra 20, put me an extra 20 miles closer. I stayed at the Loves in Calhoun. Marengo Township, Calhoun, Michigan. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm assuming. Calhoun. Anyway, I got there, had a little extra time to kill over my 10-hour break. So I ended up pulling my tarps out, pulling out my pads, my felt pads, for when I unloaded. They gotten soaking wet from being on the wet ground. So I unrolled them to hopefully get some water, a bunch of water drained off the one especially. But to get the water to drain off of them a little bit, I opened them up. And then I opened up my blue tarps and started patching them up. Unfortunately, I opened the good one first and only had 3 patches that really needed to be done on that one. The bad one has like 4 big tears in it. And I got the one really big tear, no, 2 of the big tears patched. They needed a little bit more work, but by the time I got done with that second one, I'd already been doing it for an hour and a half. My back was killing me from getting up and down and bending over. I just, and at that point it was just too dark. I could barely see finishing up that last patch. I don't even know if it came out all that good. I might have to redo it. But the one I had taken, I had actually ripped tape off. I had put tape on, and it ripped back open. It just, the tape was still there and still solid. It just, it wasn't held to the one side of the tear. So I ripped the tape back off and I repatched that one. And I think that's the one that might have to be redone a little bit, a little extra glue on it. But at least I got 2 of the big tears done. I'll look them over better when I get done tarping this load, but that's what I did last night. Got everything put away, went inside, took a shower, came out, had a little something to eat, and then went to bed. Got up 6 o'clock this morning, did the bathroom and everything, and headed over here. Got here like 2 minutes to 8 o'clock. I wanted to get here a little sooner, but during my pre-trip I realized there was no more brake fluid in my clutch. Reservoir. I'm pretty sure it's, I think it's for the clutch assist, isn't it? I believe that's what it's for. I might be wrong. But it was very low, so I ran inside real quick to grab the brake fluid just because I didn't want it to hurt anything. On a side note, with getting the truck fixed, I need to run back by the shop because for whatever reason I am losing air pressure, but I'm losing it very slowly. So I got a slow air leak somewhere on the tractor. Overnight I lose about 40 pounds of pressure. 40, 45, maybe 50 pounds of pressure. So it's usually down to between 50 and 60 by the time I wake up. But yeah, we'll have to run it by the shop and have them take a quick look at it and see what's going on. It didn't have an air leak before I brought it to them. So that's it for right now. Alright, we are officially done. We officially have 5 hours and 52 minutes left to drive. 802 miles to go and an ETA of 16:08 tomorrow. With no pre-trip, post-trip minutes. So I gave them an ETA of 4:30 tomorrow, and that gives me no buffer. So I told them that didn't count any issues with traffic or anything along them lines. Alright, I wasn't sure whether I was going the best way or not. I had to double check that. It has me going north up to 94 and then 94 east and then dropping down to 90. It's only a couple minutes difference. It is like 5 miles shorter to just go south and then southeast. But I don't know if I'll be able to take that road or not, so I'm not going to take the chance. I'm just going to stick to what the GPS has me at. But yeah, this place was ridiculous. They had this huge building, and they had the one door that I was supposed to get loaded in, and they had stuff in there. The way that she put it to me was that it had to be covered and it had to be slow cooled, which I guess they ran out of room for where they normally do it. And they decided to put it inside that door. And then they decided to schedule deliveries or pickups for that door with shit sitting inside it. A bunch of bullshit. But the funniest part is maybe 200 feet down the building, there's 2 more doors. But they couldn't use those doors because the building is divided. It's all on the outside, the whole building is all together. But instead of cutting a hole in the damn wall to bring product through, in order for me to use one of the other doors, they would still have to bring it outside the building, bring it to the other side of the building, load it back into the building, and then load me inside that way. I don't understand how a big $1 million company like that, and I'm sure it's probably a $1 billion company, that freaking place is huge. Lacks the simple common sense to do something like that. So normally this stuff, which is lightly oiled, oh boy, it's supposed to have paper wrap on the bottom, so over top of my dunnage, underneath the bars, and then it's supposed to have more wrap on top of the bars underneath my tarp. So basically the whole entire load is supposed to be wrapped in paper. Paper on top, paper on the bottom, to protect it from anything, any wetness, any probably from the oil coming off. But since they had to load me outside, they didn't put any paper on it. Now anybody that's watched my channel knows that my tarps aren't that good. I'm gonna go buy new tarps. I don't think I'm gonna buy new steels, but I'm gonna buy new 8-foot drops. My one steel, it's got a couple big holes in it, and I really want to get it fixed. I started working on it last night, like I said earlier this morning. But the cost of the tarp, I think it might be better just to buy another one. My 8-foots aren't too terrible right now after getting the one fixed. The other one's still got a pretty good rip in it. But what I did for this load, I have two padding tarps, is what I call them. I had one cut. It was it was meant to be a smoke tarp, and then I cut another one that was meant to. When I was at CRST, I used that one to cover up my headboard on my trailer to protect my chains and stuff during the winter time. Well, mostly during the winter time. I didn't really care about the rain. Which has got me thinking about this headache rack issue. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with an enclosed or if I'm gonna go to something else. But anyhow, what I ended up doing on this load, I took those 2 small padding tarps. I put one on the front, one on the back, protect me from the edges.
Continue on this road for 29 miles.
Ooh, I thought I was going to take that barrel out. So I put the two tarps on the very end. And then I dropped my 8-foot tarps down. And overlapped them so that they were, so basically I have 2 layers just with my 8-foot drops. And then I put my 4-foots down. Come on, dude. Fucking guys. 10 seconds to slow down and let somebody build up their speed. Man, I am tired now. Waste of a day. Freaking ridiculous. I should have been out of there by 11 o'clock at the latest. The absolute latest. 8 o'clock they should have had me rolling right in, loading me up, and with me getting my tarps and stuff on, you know, maybe them working with the paperwork a little bit. 11 o'clock, 3 hours at the most. No, I sat there for freaking 7 hours, 7.5 hours. 8 to 3:20. So he's already putting in for detention. So we'll see what happens on that. That's it for right now. I got Soup sitting here waiting on me. See how far we get.